Alright, today we're going to draw a couple of jellyfish. I'm going to have you use a white oil pastel, but as you can see, it's really hard to see that on my paper. So I'm going to demonstrate with some yellow so you can see it. First, we're drawing a curved line for the top, then connecting the two edges with a scalloped line. A scalloped line is kind of like lines like that look like the waves in the ocean. Okay, then we're adding some other curved lines just to add some interest to our jellyfish. Then you're going to add tentacles, and the tentacles need to be wavy lines coming off of the bottom of the head of the jellyfish. Then you're going to make another jellyfish. Okay, so find a blank spot on your paper and add another one. Again, a curved line for the head, then the scalloped lines to connect it, and this one I'm going to add lots of scalloped lines. Do something a little bit different so that all my jellyfish look different. My tentacles are going to go off the paper because this jellyfish is towards the bottom of my paper. Now I'm going to probably have to start overlapping. Overlapping is when one jellyfish is in front of another and the other one is behind it. Okay, so you're going to jump your lines around so that they don't cross. So as you can see, the one that I'm drawing in this demonstration is behind the other one that I just drew. Now I'm going to find a spot to add one more jellyfish. And again, I'm going to have to do some overlapping. So this little jellyfish is going to be kind of right behind the first jellyfish, just by a little bit, just the corner of the head of the jellyfish. Add my tentacles. And I'm done drawing my jellyfish. Now I'm going to go in with my watercolor. So I'm going to be doing the watercolor for the actual jellyfish first. We're going to be using warm colors. Remember, your warm colors are yellow, red, and orange. The way we want to use these is we want to use one color, and then we want to use another warm color that's going to be right up against the first color so that they blend together. When you are painting with watercolor and two colors of watercolor touch, the water immediately wants to mix together a little bit. Okay, this is going to create a really cool effect for our jellyfish. For the tentacles, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to start with one color, and then I'm going to do another color that I'm going to put right up next to the first color so that the two colors blend together just a little bit around the edges. The reason that we're using all warm colors is that all the warm colors blend together really nicely. You're not going to get any muddy colors if you just use all warm. I'm going to speed up the process here, okay, but make sure that you're taking your time when you're doing the watercolor for the jellyfish. Now I'm going to move into the background. For the background, we're going to use a technique with salt. So we're going to be using blue in the background. Okay, we're using lots and lots of watercolor here, lots and lots of water, and making it nice and saturated on our paper. Okay, nice and thick watercolor. Then we're going to sprinkle salt on top of it. Okay, so when you're painting, just paint a big area. Okay, keeping it nice and wet, working kind of quickly. Okay, you need to work a little bit quick here. Then you're going to sprinkle the salt on it right away. Try to keep the salt just on the area that you painted. As soon as you drop the salt on it, you cannot paint over it again. Okay, again, do not touch the salt, do not touch the watercolor because it will mess up the effect. So just sprinkle the salt on and then you're going to move on to another area of your paper. Okay, so I'm going to move on to other areas of my paper, painting a big area with lots and lots of watercolor, lots of water. Then I'm going to sprinkle my salt on that area again, and then I will move on to another area. You need to work in areas like this because if the watercolor dries, the salt will not work. When you're all done painting the background and adding the salt, you're going to be creating another jellyfish head on a separate piece of paper. You're going to draw it out with your white oil pastel and then do cool colors for the watercolor on the head of this jellyfish. This jellyfish we're going to use as our emphasis point to emphasize the jellyfish that's going to be in the front. We want it to stand out, so that's why we're using cool colors. You're going to flip over the jellyfish head and you're going to add small pieces of cool colored yarn. Remember, our cool colors are blue, green, and purple. So you're going to want to use little strips of yarn, okay, glue all along the bottom of the jellyfish head and stick the pieces of yarn onto the edge right there. This can get a little bit messy, so just do your best. I'm also using white. So if you want to add white or black to your tentacles, that's fine too. Black and white are neither cool or warm. Once you've added all the tentacles that you'd like to use, you need to take a small piece of cardboard and you need to glue it onto the back of your jellyfish, add more glue onto the cardboard, flip it over, and stick it onto your artwork. This is going to make it pop out, which is going to add even more emphasis to that jellyfish.